Hey, hello. Sunday, I want to say Sunday morning, but it's not morning anymore. So, yay, Sunday. So we will continue learning Python. So I hope that you follow all right. Last week that you have your Python installed, and I hope you also have an IDE as well, and also Git. That would really let you go far. But it's okay if you only have Python installed. I know it takes time, and but yeah, if you already have Python, you're welcome to follow today. If you can, like before, if you go to your terminal. So I hope you learned that last week. If you go to your terminal, you can type Python, and I hope you already have Python installed. So for me, I have 3.7.3, so it's already there. So that's my terminal that you can see like at the bottom here. And also at the beginning, I think because this is also a kind of a beginner's tutorial, so I also have some slides for the beginning. But don't worry, we'll write some program at the end, and I will have some homework for you as well. So I hope that if you are following my videos, either you are watching live, which well, in my opinion, which is better because you can ask questions. Like if you're stuck, you can just ask me right away, or like even if you catch up later, then I hope you still follow, week by week, that you have something to do afterwards. You just like it's kind of like a course that you learn. So I hope you really get something out of this weekend. Um, Not this weekend, but like the weekend following. So again, if you already, been to watch my been to my tutorial, watch my video last week, that you know that all these slide decks actually would be available with this link. And again, I think this is private, but yeah, don't worry, I'll make it public after this streaming, because like yeah, I've been using this for a while, and then the default was always public, but since I got into a pay plan, and it always become private. That's like it should always be public in my opinion, but it's just like that's why I always forget to make it public. But yeah, you will get the slides with this link afterwards. So don't worry if you kind of it's too fast, it's all right. You can catch up afterwards. So again, this is the tutorial that, if you haven't noticed, this is tutorial that go on every Sunday at 1 UK time. Now we are in summertime, so it's so yeah. But if you're in Europe, it's still same difference. Um, so if you're watching on Twitch, great. You can join us in the chat. If you're catching up, actually we'll be live on Twitch. So if you follow my Twitch, you would find us if you have time every Sunday. Just sit with me during this time. That would be great. So I actually figured out like last time that I haven't properly introduced myself, so you may not know who I am. Like, what is like who is this person that doing like Python's like tutorials? So I'm Shirk. So I've been using Python for quite a while now. My first job using Python was a data science job. So I started using Python for data science work. Before I use other programs, I used a little bit of, MATLAB in when doing my study, and using R as well before. But after using Python, I just ditch all of those. I just never look back. Python, in my opinion, is the best tool ever. It is flexible. It lets you do a lot of, you know, programming, programming work, research, data science, even like for fun, even making games. Now it's like even a very popular game engine, Unity, is also have like Python support. So it's getting more and more popular, and it's almost like a Swiss armor knife that you can do a lot of things with Python. So yeah, so well, I'm a Pythonister, and I've been involved in a lot of open source projects. Not all of them, I would say, like, but most of them involve Python. That's why I'm there, and I love open source because it kind of provide tools for free. It helps people to learn and help people to develop new stuff for free. And also, it's for me, it's kind of like a sharing of knowledge. You open your code for people to see, for people. So it's kind of like an openness to the community that I love. Also, there's a lot of volunteer works in there. So most of the time, the decision were made by people in the community. They decided that that would be the best for the tool rather than commercial reasons, which is a good thing as well. So that's why I'm involved in a lot of open source projects. Some of them are my projects. Terminus DB is the project that actually like is my full-time job. So I also have that's why I also have the tutorial every Friday about using Terminus DB. I think it's a good tool. It's open source. So if you know we are a company, but at the same time it's free for you to use the tool. You can see all our code. You can learn anything from us. That's what I do for work at the moment. I also involved in a lot of Python communities. So I organize London Python sprints. Well, now it's like going a little bit slow because everything goes online and we still need time to adapt to it. I also have organized Indie Webcam again. Like it was planned to be a physical boot camp, but it ended up being online, but it's still nice. I know there are a lot of indie webcam around the world still happening. So if you're interested in doing web stuff, you can, just go to indieweb.org and you can find all the information there. You can also find what events we have. There's also some local meetups. It's called a Homebrew Worksite Club. That is just like a evening that members meet and kind of share their knowledge and share like the ideas of how to build a cool website, a website that is that's better, that you have a lot of control of, and is open source idea based, so it's cool. At EuroPython, I also it's a conference. It's one of the biggest Python conference in Europe, and it was planned to happen in Dublin this year, but it goes online and it will come back to Dublin next year. But I'm helping them to organize still. Just like it's the first time that it goes online, and it hopes it will be great. And also because this year's all conference go online, I also organized pajamas. I had this idea before this pandemic that like I want to have an online conference. I'm kind of like pioneer, right? So no, it's like just because I was chatting with friends in EuroPython last year actually, that I want to have a online conference that's accessible to anybody. You can be in your pajamas at home, but you can still attend the conference, get all the good content, have all the talks that is streaming online. You can still connect with people online with chat rooms or the chats in the streams. So yeah, so if you're interested, we just started to organize. So we are recruiting organizers actually. If like it's fine even if you're new to Python, you can still join and help us. I think the best way to learn Python is to be in the community. So if you be an organizer of a conference, that's a really good start. so so yeah, you can ask for more information by finding me on Twitter. My Twitter handle was like on the first slide, but we'll go back to that maybe at the end, or you can get the slides anyway. So talk to me, or just look for pajamasconf or pajamas.life. We still haven't updated our social media and website yet. We are starting to do it. The conference is aimed to be in December this year, so it's going to be 100% online, 24 hours. It's going to be super inclusive because we are including people around the world. We will try to have multiple language to make Python accessible to anybody in the world. So that's about it. So let's get back to business. Um, that we are going to learn something about Python today. So you already have your Python installed. We tried a little bit of using Python as a calculator last time. So that's why, like, I think that's a good start, that we start with numbers, because, computer was, at the beginning, was meant to be computing, was meant to, for people to do calculations. So I would say that all programming language, they would have, this capability of doing numerical calculations. That's the very basic. And so you see that in Python. Of course, things are more complicated. It's not just like your calculator, you only have numbers, or you can put digits, and also decimals on it. But in Python, there's actually mainly two kind of numbers. There's also complex number. If you are, more advanced in math, you need to use complex number. They also have complex number, but I am not going to cover it in this tutorial. Maybe in the future, maybe, but not for the basics, because it's kind of specific use case. Most of the time in our daily life, we don't use complex number. That's more for maybe for people who are doing research or doing more complicated mathematical calculations. So the basic, number type that you came across most of the time will be integers. In Python, it's just int. It's a specific, a word that represent integer. You will know what I mean at the end of this tutorial. But just remember that int stands for integer in Python. So it's a whole number. So the example will be like, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0 is also a whole number, so it's also integer. And negative numbers are also integers. So -1, -2, -2000 integers. First input, right? You can perform arithmetic calculation with it. So it's just like, your calculator. So actually, we'll try it in the next slide. So we would actually try some calculation. Um, so the other thing would be digital numbers. So in Python is the most common one is float, float. So it stands for floating point numbers. There are also different, even for integer, there's like is not just int. There are different type of integer actually, but the most used and general one is int. So we just gotta talk about the most common one for now. If you spend more time with Python, you came across other types of integers and decimal numbers. That's fine. But we'll just deal with int and float at the moment to make things simple for the start. So decimal numbers, floating point numbers is anything with the decimal point. So it's like 1.5, 3.14, even negative, like, minus, 0.53, whatever. Also, 0.0 is 0, but it's become a floating point number because we have the decimal there. It can also perform arithmetic calculations, of course. Um, you'll see all these calculations here in this slide, and we're going to try something out. So if you have your Python terminal ready, so it's like you can look at my terminal as well if you don't have it, at hand. If you just wake up, you're just like looking at your phone and watching it. It's fine. You can still, do it like with me when I'm typing, so it's fine. So have your Python ready. Um, so okay, 1 plus 15. So the good thing about this Python terminal is like it'll just print out the answer for you. If you just type 1 plus 15, 16 is very easy. So for multiplication, we use the star. So we don't use x. No, we don't do it that way because like x is, usually is used for other things. So we use the star. It's kind of like a convention for lots of programming language. So if you have used other programming language before, it won't be alien to you that star means multiplication. So yeah, you got like 2 times 40 equals to 80. You can do minus as well. So let's give you a negative integer. That's very straightforward. And okay, we can also do division. So you can see that this is the funny thing here, right? So 10 divided by 2 is 5. But instead of 5, just 5, is 5.0. So it become a floating point. It become a float. So actually, I'll teach you later. So what this does is like actually, so type, I would also talk a little bit more, is kind of a built-in function that lets you check what type this thing is. So it tells you that it's a float. So after the division, the number become a float. So that's what happened in Python 3. It's a different thing in Python 2. That's why I was very specific last week that we are using Python 3. We are not using Python 2 because Python 2, 10 divided by 2, like 10 slash 2, is it will have a different behavior there. So that's one of the major difference between Python 2 and 3. So I won't go into details about Python 2 again. Reasons being it's supposed to be deprecated. It's supposed to be not maintained anymore. You should start writing your code in Python 3 because it's well maintained. Is in development. It's going to be better. And a lot of library you use is already support Python 3, and some of them even stop supporting Python 2. So you should start using Python 3. So So this is a good thing. So because in other programming language, if you have came across them, you know that sometimes when you do division, you have funny results because if you do 5 divided by 2, some programming language will keep it as an integer, so it will just output 2 for you. It won't be 2.5. It won't even round it up. So it's a good thing about Python that for people who just want to do numerical calculation is a way of avoiding errors because of the type difference. It would just change the type for you if anyway when you do division, because a lot of times you don't end up with a whole number with your division. So more complicated calculations, we can do a power of, so 2 power of 3. So instead of just 2 times 3, so we want 2 times 2 times 2, 3 times. So instead of saying 2 times 2 times 2, I can do a 2 power of 3. So 2 times itself 3 times. Just star star. So it's much better if you have, like, let's say something 2 to the power of 10. You don't want to type that 2 star 2 star like 10 times, right? So 2 star star 10 will give you 2 to the power of 10. So, and it's very useful in computer mathematics, because if you know a little bit basic about how computer works internally, then everything is binary, so it's a binary digit number. So for something like in computer, so everything is 1 and 0, so something like that. So it's like, what if it's so that's why a lot of the memories come with, or why is like 40, like 64 gigabyte, and then 32, and then 64, and then 120 128, and like it goes up like this. It's because it's a 2 to the power of. So because computers store things in binary, so everything is exponent, like power 2 to the power of something. So that's why when you, let's say you buy your new iPhone, you can choose from 215, or no, it's 200 is crazily high, but like you can, yeah, the memory you can choose like 64, 100, and 108. Like you choose things by this interval. You can't just have randomly, oh, I want like 98. uh, I can't have or 88 gigabytes. I can't have that because it's not a 2 to the power of something. So that's some extra information for you. So what if the other way around? Like, let's say if I want to find, so like we have 8, and what if, oh, how many times I have to multiply 2 to get 8? So how can I get that? Can I do it like this? Can I do it like this so it give me back 3? Well, it won't. It won't. Like, it's just like a division. Oh, why? Why? That's very strange. And so to show you the difference between slash and slash slash, try this. Try 5 slash 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 2. So it gives you 2 instead of 2.5. Remember before we have 2.5 here. Uh, so the difference with 1 slash and 2 slash is that 2 slash will give you back the the more traditional, more old school kind of division. So if you have an integer dividing the other one, so you would have an integer back that is truncated. All the decimal will be discarded. So this is more like an old school behavior. So also Python 2's division actually like behave this way. So it's kind of a way to go back to what other programs does. So that's why they have this slash slash. It could be, in some cases it could be useful, because sometimes, like I said, compatibility with other programs or older programs. Sometimes, like said, like I just want to divide it like 10 things in 3 boxes. The extras I'll just discard it. I don't care. So you can do this. So I can put them in 3 boxes, and the extras I don't care. Just discard them. So it's fine. So this is the perfect operator for you if you calculate things like this. So like before, I want to find back, let's say I have, like 64. So how many times I have to multiply 2 to get 64? So instead of doing this, which you can't do it like this, you also do it like this. But instead of 2, you put sorry, like it should be 1 divided by 2. Sorry, I was doing something stupid here. Right, 1 divided by 2. So it will give you, so 2 times like 8 times it will be 64. We can check that actually. Uh, am I doing it? No, sorry, that's the square root. Sorry, I'm just like, it's too early for me. I'm drinking coffee. So that's the square root. Sorry. Okay. Discard what I said like in the last minute. So I want to find like the square root or something. So square root of 9 is 3, right? So 3 square is 9. So I want to find square root of 9. So what I do gonna do is I gotta have, because this is like well, it's how well you remember your math in school. So it's like 9 to the power of 1 divided by 2 is actually like square root. So you can also do it like so this is like the cube root of 9. Um, so that's very interesting because no, actually, like yeah. So again, let's have something that we are more familiar, because like otherwise we got like a bunch of decimal numbers that we don't know what that means. So let's do this. So you can see that what multiplied by 3 times will get 8, so you can get back 2. So that's it. So that's just like we use star star in many ways. You can actually do -1 like I did before. So what it will give you is like 1 over 2. This is all this math. So actually, by using mathematic rules, stars give you a lot of way of calculation. So that's why we don't need this to do the square root. So okay, lots of math here. Whew, go through that, and so that's the very that's what Python could do in numerical calculations. So what else we can do with Python? Of course, there are more than that. Um, so strings. Strings. What is strings? Like you may have already heard about that name before. So if that bar can go away, that would be great. Yes. Oh, come on, be nice to me. Okay, keep coming back. Okay. So a string is that is actually a series of characters. So example would be hello. So it's just like a word. So a word is consists of a series of characters. So so it's a string. It's actually just text in another way. You can think of it like this. So it could be a sentence as well, because a sentence is a series of character. It's composed of word and space is in between them. But like I said, words, a series of characters, space is also a character. So it's just a longer series of character. So my name is Chirk is a string. Like something else, you can have URLs, you can have emails, they're also strings. So at the end, you can see that that's an empty string. So actually, you can have a series of characters that have nothing in it. So there's nothing. That's a string. So anything in Python that is in quotations are string. So like I said before, I can use type, the Boolean function, to check the type of it. So you can see that it's a string. String, the short form is like in Python is str. So like integer is int, the string is str. So I should actually put it in the slides. I will do that afterwards. Always find some little things when I'm presenting that I would love to change. I will do it at the end and after the stream. So you can actually perform a concatenation. So hello, you can use plus. So instead of a numerical plus, Python is very smart that it sees that in front and behind a plus is a string, so it would perform a concatenation instead of a plus. So for other programming languages, the chances you get for this will give you an error, right? So saying like you can't do it with that because plus is for numerical calculations, you can't do that. But Python actually is very flexible and smart. It will check that's what you mean is concatenation. I got it. So I'll give you hello world. Um, so also in Python, there's also Boolean method for different objects. So string is an object. Actually, numbers are also objects in Python, but I won't go into details there. That's more like another topic. That's more like internals of Python. That I think it will be more advanced topic. I am just covering the basic here. So just remember, in Python, everything is an object. So a string is an object, and it has its own method that could apply to it. So one example would be, actually single quote are the same. So you can use single quote or double quote. Is the same in Python. So let's say I use single quote here. So split is a built-in function for string object. So what it does, it will um, break the string into things. Now you can see it breaks into hello, and well, so you can see actually that's a list that I will cover maybe next week, because I realized that it will be too long to cover so many things in an hour, so I would cover string and dictionary in next week. But you can just see that it's like actually we have two objects back. We have hello and world. So the default of split, if you because split you can put other things in there as well. So for example, if you put let's say check at, so that's my email, my work email. So don't spam me. I can block you easily. So don't do that. So, but if you have anything that good questions or being nice to me, it's fine. I won't hate you. But okay. So you can split it by, let's say, add. So actually, split you can put something inside a bracket. So that's actually is a parameter of calling a function. We'll cover that in the future. But just just look at what we can do with Python, and then in the future, I know you have a lot of questions now, but don't worry, if you stick with this tutorial, I would let you know what's happening. I would teach you, even though like you can even like ask questions now. I would tell you that when maybe I would say, oh, next week I'm gonna talk about that, right? So ask questions is fine. You will have a lot of questions. Everybody have a lot of questions, so don't worry. So now you see that I can split it by the at. So the first example, I put nothing inside the bracket. It will just split by the space. In the second example, I can actually choose what character to split the things with. So you can see that now my email is split in two, and it's split at the at. So it's very handy for a lot of cases. In the future, when we do write more sophisticated program, you'll find this split very useful. There's also other methods that you can actually easily find online. So Google is your best friend in programming. So for example, I want to know what other built-in function I can use, built-in method I can use for string. So you just type Python, maybe string built-in. You would probably Google will show you the documentation, the official documentation of Python. It will list all of the method for string for you. So it's your best friend. Or if you want to do something like, oh, I want to split hello world into two words. I want to split it at the white space. Type the question, and the chances are you will get a search that gives you the answer, maybe in some forums like Stack Overflow. So Stack Overflow is a forum that a lot of software developers, programmers ask questions, and a lot of more experienced people will answer the questions there. So maybe your questions is a common question and somebody already asked it, and you can find your answer there. So this is very handy. So yeah, and I can't stop touching my face, which is a bad thing to do at this time. So my nose is super itchy. Okay, you should wash your hands. That's why you should wash your hands. Okay, okay. So also, there are very nice things you can do with string. This is like something not very common. Um, but like that's why Python is so good. For example, you can do hello and have a bracket and then put a number there. They give you back an e. Ooh, what happened here? So, like I said, a string is a series of characters. So actually start with 0. So if you want to get the capital H back, right? you need to put 0 because it will be like 0, 1, so you can see like there will be 0. Oh, I can't highlight it very well here in my terminal. This is not meant for you to do that. So, okay, you'll see a little bit of highlighter here. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is like a series of characters, which the first one start with 0. So you're telling Python that, okay, I know this is a string, right? And it's a bunch of, a series of characters. Give me the first one, which in your language is 0. So give me the first one. So it's H. Um, so yeah, like in programming, so if it's a series of things, you can actually find like find certain elements by their order. So some programming language they start with 1, like R, another popular programming language for data science and data analysts. Like I start with 1, but in Python it starts with 0. So uh, there are reasons why it starts with 1, and there are also reasons why it starts with 0. Uh, a lot of the time is the people who created that programming language decided that with their reasons. In Python, it's like part of it is like this. Also, the community can also say like, hey, I think start with 0 is better. Um, but yeah, this is what Python people agree. We will start with 0. And actually, there are a lot of benefits with it, which you will discover in the future. When you get more, experience in Python, you will discover that actually start with 0 is quite a good idea. But like, just pay attention because like sometimes people forget because in our language we always count things like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So you have to pay attention. Also, other programming language it may not be the case. So always pay attention to these things. We call this indexing. So these numbers, the orders actually are called index. So Python is 0 indexed, so it starts with 0. Okay. So you can get things, get a particular character back from a string by calling the index, and but you can also get a section of it. So I use hello a lot today. I say hello a lot of times. Okay, so what will this give you back? So it give you hell. Oh my god. So what happened is like, uh, in Python, you can have a section of a series of things. So for example, string is a series of characters, so you can have a section of it. So this is actually saying give me the first 4 elements. So what if I don't want hell? I want hello. It's not a word, but I want hello. I don't want the H. So what should I do? So actually, hello, I start with the E, right? So the index of E, remember, is 1 because 0, 1, right? So the second letter is 1. So I want 1. And I want ELLO, so it's 4 letters. So I just, put 4 here. So this is how you do it. So that's a mistake. So actually you won't get 4 letters. Why? Because, so what is the index of O? So 0, so for H, 0, so E is 1, L is 2, L is 3, and then O is 4. So 4 is O. But this indexing is actually not including the end. So it includes the start but not include the end. It's a bit strange, but there are benefits of doing it, and I'll explain later. So actually it should be 5 because we are not including 5. So 5 is nothing there. So actually I would get, index 1, 2, 3, 4. So ELLO. Hello. And why we do it like this? Why we include the first index but not including the second one? I end it at the one before it because then I can do something like what I had before. I can do a hello, and then I was like, give me from the first to the end, give me the first 4. So that's the benefit of it. A lot of times you would do things more like this than picking something in the middle. You just want the first something. So that's why this is a better way. I can't really explain, but you have to really have more experience in Python to feel that the benefit of it. I was translating a lot of JavaScript code into Python, And I found this indexing super neat compared to JavaScript. So yeah, it's difficult to see it's a little bit funny for you now. Oh, including the first one, but not the last one. What? But when you get used to it, when you have more experience in programming, then you will find the benefits of it. Trust me. But this is what happened right now. Another thing is like I can also have the last character, so you can have minus in the index. Sorry, swan. So so it gives you back the O. So you can also have the second last one, so -2. So you can put minus in the index, which is not a common thing in programming language. Um, but that's the good thing about Python. You can also count things from the end. Like give me the second last, give me the last one. Again, you'll find it very useful in the future. Also, you can do things like this. So, so remember what happened, right? So the first one is including the first one. So actually, like, okay, let me go a little bit back. So like this, actually, this should be 0 here because I'm having the h as well. So if you omit it, actually, it will put the beginning for you. So what if I do like here? So okay, include the second last one, which is L, and then 2 words, I skip it. So if I skip it, it means that just give me everything, the rest of it. So it's arrow, low. So yeah, it's a bit full of information right now. If you have doubts, again, in the future, if you have doubts, you can Google it. Just find it. But it's super handy when you get used to it. So I want to teach you a little bit more like advanced string thing, which is very useful when you do programming. It's called formatted string. So what I'm teaching now, this way of doing formatted string is only valid for Python 3.6 or above. So if you have Python 3.4 or 3.5, this formatted string will work. There are other ways of doing it for formatting a string for Python, versions before 3.6. But I'm not going to cover that because it would take a lot of time to cover all the way, all different ways. And but you can also find it, Google is your best friend for things that I can't teach you in this, 1 hour. But I like because I remember last week I recommended using Python 3.6 or above. So I gotta be assuming that you have Python 3.6 or above. So how to do this is okay. It's count to the end when minus is the range and it doesn't. Yeah. So if you have actually like okay, so I will quickly answer this because this is a relevant question. Right. So what if I have a positive number? So let's say this. So what will happen like this? So remember one is E, right? So you just give me E towards the end. So it's like this, like what I did here. So remember O is 4. So 5 means that it's out of range. It's like, well, so you can actually skip it and it will just give you everything towards the end. Yeah. So does it answer your questions, Lace? Um, yeah. So it's super flexible. Python is super cool. That's why. Okay, back to formatted string. So formatted string actually is a string start with an F. So no, I love questions. So please, if you have questions, ask. So formatted strings. So you put an F before the string, so you can have single quote and double quote. But again, it doesn't matter. It's more like a style. So for now, I just won't be strict about it. You can use double quote or single quote. It's fine. There's only cases you may want to use like a double quote because, for example, if like I'm happy, so you have a apostrophe in your sentence, so you better use double quote because if you use single quote, then Python will give you an error because it doesn't understand what you mean because you have, it's supposed to be a string like that ends here, but you have things afterwards, so you better use double quote in that case. So here, you use double quote and it's fine. So it's a good way that you can interchange the single and double quote depending on your use case. So okay, sorry, back to the formatted string. So let's type that thing that I have there in the slide. So I will explain later. because it's better to do it. It will self-explain itself. So I have 1 plus 2 or 1 plus 3. I have one more apple than you. It's fine. It will give you. I have 4 apples. So, that's super cool. So for a formatted string, what happened inside the curly bracket, Python will take it as a code. So it will execute what happened between the curly bracket, and then use the answer as a replacement for that bracket. So you can see that Python sees this formatted string. It will calculate 1 plus 3, and it's 4. So it will put 4 in the bracket. So I have 4 apples. Instead of I have 1 plus 3 apples. Also, the other example that would involve variables, which I gotta cover afterwards. So first of all, I need to have a variable. So color equals to red, let's say. So okay, what happened? I would explain variables in a bit. But what happened is like now Python will store red in color. So if I now do a formatted string, my car is color. So what happened is like Python will execute color, which is red, and I put it in the bracket. So you have my car is red. So it's a way of having some flexibility with the string that is very useful in programming, because like my car is color. So you may have different people have different colors of their car. So you don't know what color cars they have, uh, beforehand. So you can put color as a variable and put it inside a string. Super cool. So okay, let's move forward. So I hope so far your mind is still clear. Again, if it's too fast, I'm afraid like we have limited time for these tutorials. You can always watch back with the recordings that I'll upload on YouTube. So you can find it on my website. My website is check.dev. Or if you have questions, you can ask me. There's a Q&A box in Twitch. You can ask me there. So So there's lots of way for you to learn. Okay, variables. So we have to be a little bit faster because like actually it's taking a lot of time, right? So variables. So here, I would explain like variable is like a mug that I have. Not this mug actually. Oh, I haven't prepared. So I like a coffee mug that I bring to buy coffee. That I can buy Americano, which I have a spelling mistake there. I'll fix it. Which you can buy Americano, latte, or mocha, and the barista won't ask. You can buy anything with that cup. So Python is like that. It's like that barista that won't ask, oh, you need to have a specific cup for Americano, or you have to have specific cup for latte. You can use the same cup for any coffee. Python is like that. Python won't ask, because for other programming language that you have to tell the barista beforehand that this is my latte cup. Please get me a latte. A big one, small one, whatever, like or favorite one, like caramel one. But this is a latte cup, so only put latte in it. No, Python is like, yeah, just give me a coffee cup. I don't care. I just like, okay, latte, I'll put latte in it. Okay, Americano, I'll put Americano in it. With or without milk, it's fine. Um, so, uh, so you can try this with the terminal. So for variables, so variable could be anything. Like it could be X, it could be Y, it could be, a teddy bear. Oh well, you can't have spaces, but you can have like, let's say, teddy bear. So we usually use underscore instead of space because you can't use space, so we use underscore. Equals to cute, right? But also teddy bear can equals to something. Actually, I regret it now because I have to type a lot of things. Again. Okay, first check what is in teddy bear. So how you check what's inside? You just type it in terminal. It will give you back. So teddy bear, it could also equals to 2. So it doesn't care if it's a number, if it's a floating point, or like 3.14. It doesn't care. You can put anything in it. Um, so yeah, that's a good thing about Python. You just use a variable, like boom. You don't have to worry about what you store like beforehand. You can even change it. You can pull out the latte and put Americano in it. doesn't matter. You don't have to pull out the latte and put, let's say a latte with cream. It's fine. Um, so this is this. Like you can also store numerical calculations. So what it does is like Python will execute a 1 plus 1. The result will store in the teddy bear. Also, well, again, you can do concatenations. If, I have to have a space. Okay. Uh, so this concatenation, right? So it will be very cute, and it will store in teddy bear. So teddy bear now is very cute. Yay. Um. So okay. So this is what I want to show you. So it's like very cute. I want to very cute. Two of them, or like very cute. Like let's say 10 times 2. Okay. Whatever. Um. Oh, it gives you an error. Because what we are doing, because remember 2 without a quotation is a number. So I can either make it into a string by putting quotation around it, then it won't give you an error because now you're doing purely concatenation. If you have a string in front or behind, and then the other side you put a number, then Python is confused. Because Python will check whether, like, with the plus sign, if before and after are string, then it's no ambiguity, it's concatenation, right? But if you mix the two types, because like numbers, well, if in front and behind the numbers, it's just, it's plus, easy. But if you mix the two, Python got confused. Is it a concatenation or a plus? I don't understand. Please tell me what you actually want. So it may be you made a mistake, so Python just ask just in case. So that's why you have to first make the two. Oh, no, no, no. I mean like two as a character, not as a number. So then you can put them together as a concatenation. So now teddy bear should be cute square. Uh, or actually like, so what if I don't know what's that? Like 1 plus 1. So what can I do? Okay, so that's where string is super useful here. Remember this one, Python will do 1 plus 1 first and then put it as a string. So yeah, or there are other ways that I gotta cover in the next slide, but I gotta teach you now here. So you can change the type of things. So you can actually change this to, instead of putting quotation, you can change it like this. So now you can put 1 plus 1. Because if you put quotation here, what happened is that, um, right. So what happened if you put 1 plus 1? So the whole thing will become a string, right? So I want 2, I don't want 1. So that's why here, if I put str, then it's like an f string. Python will execute it first and then make it into a string and then do the concatenation. So yeah, this is a bit complicated, this one, but you would have a better idea at the end of this tutorial because we gotta cover those like things later. So yeah, the f string, the example below, I've already showed you. So yeah. Sorry, I'm running a bit rushed here. I realize that it's almost an hour. I still have a lot to show. I would do it a little bit longer than I want to, but I try to keep it an hour so people won't get too tired. So built-in functions. Uh, so you can find the whole list on the official documentation there. That's the link. They are predefined operations that remember last week we do exit. Exit. So this one will exit Python. So this is actually a built-in function. So it's predefined that whenever Python see exit bracket, so you call the exit function, it will just exit it. So let's start it again. So there are others. So one very common one is print. So what print does is that print will just print it out. So why we use print, like why I can just type, I can just type it here, like why I need to use print, because um the Python terminal is they're super nice that when you just type a variable here, let's say x equals to 1, 2, 3. you just type X here, then the terminal realizes that, oh, maybe you want to see what's inside X. But if you have a big program, which we did at the end of the tutorial, if you have a big program and you want to print out something in the middle of it, it's not at the end, and actually it won't be shown if you don't use print. So that's why the right way of doing it should be print X. So this is like, even if you have print X within a series of instructions, whenever Python execute and see print X, it will just put out X. It won't guess what you want to do. It's just like, it will just print it out. So which is a good way of doing. So ABS is absolute number, so I can just quickly show you. This is nothing very complicated. Just 10. So okay, int, float, and str, like stir, is I've already showed you a little bit before. So it's changing the type of the object. So type is checking the type of the object. So type 1 is an integer. Type 1 plus 1.1 is a float. Type, remember the quotation, with quotation is a string. So type, you can check it. So let's say I want to change it into a number, so I can. So is what's a string, and I call int in it, and then show me the type. So now it becomes an int. Straightforward. You can also change it into float. Oh, now it's a float. So or you can actually do the other way around. You can make it into string. I've shown you before, so I'm not going to do it again. Okay. So the last one I want to teach you now is length. len, length, is a shorthand for length. So what it does is like, you have a series of string, hello. Oh. So you have hello. So here 5, HELLO. So it gives you like how many letters in hello. So what happened, because string is a series of characters, so it just tell you how long this series is. So how many characters are in this string. So that's it. It will turn out to be very useful in the future, trust me. But that's it. That's all these Boolean functions I'm gonna talk about today. There are more, a lot more. If you check the list, there's a lot more. But don't worry about the others for now. They will come in the future. But these are the useful one at the moment. So okay, finally we have less than 10 minutes. Let's write some program. It's fine. We will do it. We will be able to write programs today. So I gotta actually change the scene. So now you would see that I have atom here. So that's what I call an IDE that last week. You should get one. If not today, you can do it like after the tutorial. You can before you do your homework, you can choose one ID of your choice. Like I said last week, you can ask your friend what they use, ask your colleague what they use. If you don't have any idea, Atom is good. Just go to Atom. You Google it, Atom GitHub or something like, because they have integrated with GitHub. But Atom programming, Atom IDE, like, or just Atom. Sometimes they just give you to the download page. So there's a lot to do with the IDE. There's a lot of, like I said, more functionalities that's designed for coding. I won't cover that today. It's not a tutorial for IDE. I'll just show you that how I do programming. So our first task, I forgot what is my first task. Give a name and a pronoun, and a favorite thing, print a self-introduction. So it's called, save it as a lazy self-intro. Okay, so name, right? So I hope it's big enough for you to see. I've already made it bigger, but I can even make it bigger. So is this better? Okay, so I can make it super big because it's not a big program. Okay, so name equals to, let's say this is my name, so Chuck, right? So remember it's a string, so don't do it like this. You will have an error if you do it like this. You can try it. I'm not going to do it. So remember strings and in quotation. Don't forget about that. That's an easy beginner's mistake. So sometimes you get an error. Oh, because you missed the quotation. So always double check if you got an error. It's fine to make mistake. You just need to know how to fix it. Name is check. So pronoun, because if you don't put quotation, it will be a variable. So pronoun. So instead of pronoun as a string, is a variable. So pronoun. My pronoun is she, her. Right? So I can use double quote or single quote, it's fine. Usually in one program we try to stick with one, so I would use single quote here. It's bad if you kind of mix both. Sometimes I do because I copy and paste, which is a bad habit. So make sure you use the same, right? Okay, so I pronoun in Python you don't have to do things like this. So I know some programming language you have to end it by like this, like JavaScript. If you use straight, you have to do it like with this, and I do believe in C as well, if I remember correctly. So yeah, you have to you know use those. But in Python, no. Python, you just press enter, start a new line, and then Python knows that this is another one. One thing make Python different from other programming languages is that Python is really indentation focused. So it cares because for other programming language, you can like have do things like this, right? Like you can edit and then like do it like this, or you can put it in one line, like it doesn't matter. But in Python, it actually do matter that like where do you put it because we don't have those things to edit. Or like I believe in Prolog you use full stop, and then like maybe in Rust as well. I don't know. I don't write in Rust, but I see some of my colleagues code. But yeah. So because Python doesn't have anything, it's just like it just check what you want to do. What is the new instructions of this by indentation? So you can't do it like this. Python will give you an error if you do things like that. So spacing and indentation is super important in Python. So that's something that you should bear in mind if you're new to Python. Even so, if you use other programming language before. So some people find it annoying, but I found it nice because what happened is that it kind of forces you to have your program very readable instead of having mess of like mixing two space and four space indentation. You always use four space, no other way. So everybody, even though they write the same code together, sometimes you do it with your colleague and then you write half the program, your colleague write the other half. It's the same format. It's easy. Everybody can understand it because we have the standard to follow. So, okay, go back to our program. So pronoun, my favorite thing, favorite. I don't know. I'm mixing like American spelling and English spelling sometimes. So, and sometimes I spell wrong. Bear with me. I'm like horrible, especially when I'm live. I'm under pressure. I just can't spell. So yeah, it's fine. So favorite things is teddy bear. Okay, so I have this. So now I want to print out my self introduction. So print, like, I take advantage of the app string. Yeah, thank you for checking, Lace. So yeah, so you can print use the app string. That's why I teach you. So like some courses they won't teach you so early about the formatted string, but I teach you early because it is super powerful and super useful. So it's good to know about it early in when learning Python. So okay, so it's like self introduction. So I am. So Chuck is name. So because like it could be used for other people, so maybe they are not Chuck. So I am Chuck. My pronoun. Uh, my pronoun is pronoun, and my favorite thing is favorite. Oh, you can't see the word. That's the thing about like I'm making it. Okay, let me make it. How can I make it like smaller? Okay, let me force it. Okay, yeah. Now you should be able to see the whole thing, right? So yeah. Okay. Because you can see that the nice thing about Atom, you can soft wrap it. So it will just tell you that this is still line 5. I just make it into 2 so you can see the whole thing. So which is very useful when you're doing like Python because indentation, like I said, is very important. You can't just, oh, I have not enough space, press enter. That's wrong. You can't break it into 2 lines. 5 and 6 is wrong. So you You keep it as one line, but it's just like I'm running out of space. Atom, please show me in the next line, but don't make it the next line. So you see a dot here. Right. So prints this thing. So the good thing, good habit, double check your quotation is right. Usually you have the syntax highlighting, but because I haven't saved it, so Atom doesn't know what programming language I'm writing, so it doesn't have any highlighting. So I would now save it. So yeah, you can't see it, but it gives me a prompt to save it. Okay, I will just name it Lazy. That's why I decided the name last night, so I don't have to worry about that. Lazy self intro, right? Because the most difficult thing will be naming. So lazy self intro.py. Right. So it is saving now. Should be. Yeah, it takes a while because, like I said, I'm pushing the program to limit, and it's not happy because I am doing lots of things. So again, like a good thing is check your quotations. Usually your IDE will help you by doing some highlighting for you. I have to save it so for it to work, and it's saving. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Um, and yeah, so about this program, uh, well, we haven't learned to write a function and having parameter yet. But here, this program, the good thing is like if you give it to someone else, if let's say if I give it to Lace, so you can change it into like your name, your pronoun, and your favorite things. So instead of you have to type this sentence every time for different person, you can just change the name, the pronoun, and the favorite things, and then it will still print out the same thing. Okay, Atom is freaking out, and I'm not happy about it. I really want to run this program with you, but if it's not cooperating, I'll just do it with my Python terminal. It should be the same thing. I have to retype it again, which is super annoying, but that's the thing, because like it seems like Atom is crashing on me. Atom is fine, don't worry. Like it's just I'm doing the streaming at the same time with all these things. So my current MacBook is pushed to the limit, so it can't handle it. But usually it's fine. So name is Chirk, pronoun. Sorry, you have to look at the terminal now. Pronoun equals to she, her favorite. So you can see that I type really slowly with this because with Atom, I can actually like it will hint what you're trying to type and auto complete it for you. So, but I'm just typing the same thing, right? I am name. My pronoun is pronoun, and my favorite thing is favorite. Okay, and close it. Okay. Oop. Yep, spelling error. So that's why it's good to have an IDE because now it's telling me that I'm spelling things wrong. V-O, yeah. Right. So now you can see that I'm checking my program. So this is what you would get when you run the program. So Atom is crashing. I am afraid I can't go forward. I really want to show you the second example though. Let me see if I can force quit Atom. Yeah. Right. Sorry about that. That's a little bumpy at the end. And I don't like it because it's going too long. But I'm restarting Atom now, so we should be back very soon. So yeah, have I saved it actually? Okay, let me check if I have the file. I do have it. Okay, look at my terminal now. So I think it's the syntax highlighting that crashed it, so it's fine. So Python. So what you do here is like at the terminal, you can see what I'm doing. So if you want to run the program, so just type Python and then the name of the program, of the file, the .py file. So save it, always save it as .py. The good thing is you would know that it's a Python program. Also, for Atom, things like that, if it's .py, they know that it's a Python program and they would do the syntax highlighting for you. Um, so .py, and also like I think I don't know whether you can run it without .py for the Python program, but always save it as .py, please. Don't make yourself life difficult. So, oh, I'm not, okay. Let's run it. Yep, so you can see that it perfectly runs. I don't have any errors. Yay! So this is my first example done. So my second example, so see if my atom is coming back. Yes, my atom is coming back. So, right. But it's a bit funny now because yeah, let me, yeah, right. Okay, and I don't have that program, but it's fine. It's saved. It's just like not showing in here because it's not. Okay, let's see how I can do this. So now you can't see anything with my, because the dimension of the window changed and OBS kind of readjusted to a way that you can't see anything, which is bad. Right. Okay, now at least you can see something, which is good. I try to make it a little bit like lower, please. Okay, now you can see it. Fine. Okay, let me see if I can open that again. My program again. It's going super slow, which I'm worried. I want to show you the syntax highlighting. Please. Please be nice to me. Right. Where is it? Maybe it's trying to load. Oh, good. Well, I'm trying to open it. That's what I'm doing now. But it's not opening for some reason. Okay, fine. They don't like it. So I'll just, oh, okay, now it's loading. So you can see the difference right now. This is the one that after I've saved it, before it's just undefined, doesn't have .py. So Atom doesn't know that it's a Python program. Now it knows it's a Python program. So it do all these nice things for you. So if you're missing like a quotation, well, this is not very obvious, but like let's say if you're missing like yeah, if you're missing a quotation here, you say, oh, it doesn't look right. What's going on? So you know, and I always try to help you if you do just like a quotation. I would try to end it for you, so you just type, 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 type. So yeah, so you won't forget about closing it. So yeah, all these, it will also color the app strength as well. So you know that these will be these parameters. So now you can change it to like Lace. So what's your favorite thing, Lace? Oh, I can't see the chat. Yeah, I don't know what's your favorite thing. I would just put something like your favorite thing is like chocolate. Okay, good. So okay, so I guess it's she and her. So okay, I can save it now. So you can see the blue dot disappear. That means that I've saved it. And if I run the program again on the terminal down there, you can see that now this is the introduction for Lace. It's not for me. Yay! Yeah, happy Easter eggs. Yeah. So yeah, you can see that it changed. So it's a good thing about writing a program that it's very flexible. Instead of typing it every time, you can just change it. So what else? There's the second one that I want to show you because this will be helpful for you to do the homework. So giving some amount of money and the interest rate and the number of years. Okay, so now I have a loan. So I will do it in the other thing. So okay, what I gotta do this time, I gotta save it first. So I will have the syntax highlighting where I go. So coed loan calculator dot py, right? So it should be saving. Yeah. Atom doesn't like to save anything for me today, which is very, very bad. Why? Do your job, man. So yeah. Um right. Let's think. So actually, I may cheat a little bit to show you the formula of how to calculate interest on a loan. I would just see if I can find a formula there. So yeah, in case you are not familiar with, so it says that to calculate interest rate, start by multiplying your principal with the amount that taken from the loan. Yeah, I don't know. Like I shouldn't have the memory problem, I think, but well, um, yeah, which is the same amount of money before interest. So let's say I take out 10K. So I have to, um, time the period involved. So let's say I got it for a year, and then put the numbers down, or maybe 2 years, divide the amount, pay interest from that month, yeah, by that number. Okay. So it's still not saving. It's really annoying. Maybe let me close other atom windows. Maybe that's why it's crashing. Okay, I was just, you know what? I just like restart and like, can I just close the other windows, please? Options. Nope. Okay, it's too late now. But like, I have some other things going on. I was coding something last night, so I have something opened. That may be the problem. But usually it's fine. I open like I work on 2 or 3 repos at the same time sometimes, and it's fine for me. Okay, so before I do the program, I gotta show you a little bit of the homework. So, so homework will be super similar to what I show you. So the first one also give one line, just print out one line of the student's report. So you have the name of the student, the class they're in. So maybe like so someone's name, Peter, in class 3A, and he or she or use they, just use or Peter, use the name again, like Peter um score 100 in mathematics, something like that. Yeah, it's flexible for you. It's just like get something that you work. You can improve it however you like it. It's not. We don't have exams. This is not in school, but it's just something for you to test out. Uh, and then we calculate mortgage for the next one. It's more complicated. You may get some help online by looking at how mortgage is calculated and things like that. So it's just like what I did here, right? How to calculate. Well, actually, I know how to calculate interest. It's just like, but if you don't know, you can do it. Always Google. Google is your best friend, like I said. Yeah. So let me close the other atom window so it doesn't crash this time, please. So thank you. I am closing it. So do you have any questions? This is a very good time for you to ask questions while I am trying to do some housekeeping so I can show you my atom again. And so I want to make some advertisements. So every Wednesday, I would be doing a Python chat with my friend Lace, and she's lovely. I love chatting with her. That's why I'm doing that. And we're just gonna talk a lot of what's happening in the Python community and maybe discover new Python libraries. So if you're interested in Python, definitely try that. So I have 2 files here. Okay. Oop, I shouldn't close that. Whoop, whoop. Okay. I shouldn't close that. So now let me open that again. Oh, actually, sorry, I'm super dumb. Like, where is the thing? Okay, thank you. Okay, I want my own calculator. Thank you. So, okay, finally. Whew. Okay. So, yeah, you should see better now. I think one problem is that I make it super big. That's why it's super funky. Okay. So, right, loan. So I have the amount. Let's say I take 10K, right? Oh, a good thing in Python actually, I don't know when it started you can do this, but if you have like, amounts that instead of writing down like this, you can't do it with numbers, you can't have commas. Sorry if it's decimal you start, but that's 10. I want 10K, not 10. So underscore will be ignored in a number, so it will actually the same as this one. So, but it's good when you have super large number. What if like it's 10 million? Then you have, you can use the underscore to separate them. But I will just have 10K for now. This is too much. I can't give back the bank. So okay, interest rate. Like I said, you can't have space, so you can't have interest rate. So you have to use underscore. Underscore is very useful in Python. Okay, I would have it like 0. Well, 2%. Oh god. Right, and I gotta have year. I gotta have it for 3 years, let's say. So pay back would be, so how much I have to pay back. So I would be like the amount. So for the next year, I have to pay back, 1 plus, okay, times. So for if I have 1 year, so I have to be like 1 plus 0.2, right? So I have to pay the amount plus the interest, which is like 0.2 times the amount. So this is the mathematical formula. But I have it for 3 years, so let's do it like this. So this gotta happen 3 times. So this is the formula of calculating interest. So if you don't get it, you can go online, and this line is breaking in a very weird way, and I should make it smaller so it kind of, okay. So yeah, if you kind of don't understand why this formula is like this, Google it. Google is your best friend. Okay, so let's print payback. So let's run it. Let's save. Remember to save, otherwise there's nothing. So this time I run Python loan calculator, right? So whoa, I have to give back quite a lot of money. PyCharm, yeah, PyCharm is good, but I personally like. I think PyCharm is popular for a lot of data scientists. I haven't used it before. They they support the community quite a lot because I see them sponsoring quite a lot of PyData conferences. So give them a try. I think you can download it for free to use, and I think they also have pro versions that you may have to buy it. But sometimes if they will have giveaways at conferences and things like so. Sometimes maybe you can win a year of pro PyCharm or something. But yeah, give it a try. See if that's your thing. I I haven't used it, so I really can't tell whether it's good or not. But I think in PyCharm, the good thing is that you don't have to open a terminal window separately. You can have it in the PyCharm as well. So slides are a bit hard to read. Sorry. Actually, that's not my slides. I'll go back to. So I think the best way is if you grab the slides, it would be better to see it. So I actually, you know what? I would go back to my beginning slides, and you can. Oh, okay. So yeah, you will see the link to grab it. So it's a bit.ly/Python basics1. So with the capital P and the capital B. So yeah, grab the slides. Right. So okay, I pay a lot of money. Oh God, and that's but you can make it better by like, oh, I want an abstract, so I have to payback, right? So you can see that we have a very nice syntax highlight now. I know that green means that it's a string, and then I use the f string, so this one will be a variable. Save, remember to save, and now I have a sentence. I have to pay back that amount of money. So yeah, feel free to improve it, and then you can add things like, maybe you can add your name, you can combine two exercise, so name will be Chirk. Let's say Chirk. Right. So so maybe like now this time say check have to pay back, has to pay back. Sorry, my poor English. Right. Okay. Now check has to pay back. So yeah. So that's it. That's my example now. So homework will be in the slides. So it will be very similar. One of them would be just printing out the F string. The second one is more like calculation based. You don't have to make it fancy, but feel free if you want to, just as a practice. We are overrun by 20 minutes. Jesus, I want to show you the last slide. Like I have already given you the advertisement of every Wednesday. Next week I gotta talk about list and dictionary, and we gotta write more complicated program with that. And also for these examples, which is very simple, but I will try to upload them on GitHub. I don't have time to show you how to upload to GitHub and all this. Maybe next week if I have time, I'll show you how to do that. So you can also upload your homework there. So you can share with people. So this is very simple, but if you have a more complicated project, maybe it's good to save it on GitHub so you can, if you want me to have a look, you can, share the link to me, and even if you want me to change something for you, I can do it with GitHub. So I think maybe in the future, I would dedicate one tutorial for using GitHub. So yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, uh, it's good. Like we are not just learning Python in this tutorial. I think the good thing is that we will try to teach you to be able to use Python to work on things. I'm trying to like I can't guarantee you will be a professional programmer, but I'm trying to teach you as much as I know, so you can use Python at least in open source project. I can't guarantee you a job, but at least you can work on open source project. So yeah, like I would upload all these code on GitHub. I would also, put the link in the description. So if you are catching up, you will have those links available to you already. But if you are watching it live, I would put all of the information. You know, uh, Twitch, you can make a highlight, right? So I would also put it there. So if you come back and check the highlight, all the links will be there. I will tidy up the slides and make it public so you can grab the slides after this. I'm sorry that if it's too small to see the homework, but you would be able to see it like in a few minutes. I would just do it right after I stop streaming when my computer is not super slow. So thank you so much. I think that's the end of this week. I'm sorry it runs a little bit longer, but and I'm glad that my computer and my internet doesn't crash. Well, the Atom was a little bit naughty today, but it's okay. So yeah, next week we'll talk about list and dictionary. It can give us more power to write more sophisticated program. We can make more interesting stuff next week. So yeah, please, if you like it, tell your friends, share with your friends, tell them where they can watch it. Um, I just want more people to get the benefit of using Python. So yeah, feel free to talk to me on Twitter. Be nice to me, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye.